Conference of State Legislatures of Nigeria has condemned the horrific lynching of 16 travelers from the northern part of the country who were tragically killed by a mob in Uromi, Edo State on March 28, 2025, after being accused of possessing local firearms. A statement issued by the chairman of the conference and speaker of the Oyo State House of Assembly, Adebo Ogundoyin, yesterday noted that the actions of the vigilante group responsible for the atrocity are both barbaric and indefensible. The conference decried the mob violence as a severe violation of human rights and a significant threat to peace and security. Extrajudicial killings erode the rule of law and undermine the foundational values of our society. While we commend the swift response of the Edo State government and security agencies, we urge them to intensify their efforts to identify, arrest, and prosecute those responsible for this heinous act in accordance with the law, the chairman of CSSLN said. Additionally, the conference called for rigorous oversight of community policing structures established by state governments. It is vital that these local security operatives function with professionalism, respect for human rights, and adherence to the rule of law. Effective oversight will help maintain the integrity of these initiatives and prevent them from becoming tools of injustice. Our hearts go out to the families of the victims. We extend our deepest condolences during this time of sorrow and stand in solidarity with them and their loss, Adebo commiserated. Ndamzi, what do you make of this story, the Uromi killings in Edo State?
Honestly, I want to also say a condolence prayer to the families of the deceased, because that act was barbaric, condemnable, unconstitutional, and very, very unlawful. And it is also punishable by our laws. See, I have maintained on several occasions that nobody have the right to take the life of another, no matter what the situation might be. Under the 1999 Constitution, particular in Section 33, Sub 1 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, it guarantees right to life. And also God abhors us from taking the life of another. So you see, even though the Constitution guarantees us right to life, God himself guarantees us life. So that act is very, 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 very unconstitutional. It's a demonic act. It's satanic. What they did is satanic. Because you can't stop anyone to move freely within Federal Republic of Nigeria. Section 41.
They said they were found with AK-47.
Yes.
And the defense was that they said they were hunters. Do you hunt with AK-47?
See, Choma.
Yes.
No matter what that crime is, nobody has the right to take life. They have succeeded in apprehending them. The proper thing to do is to hand them over to the police for prosecution.
Now the question would be, I think this Uromi situation brings a lot to limelight. And I want to look at the different perspective of this very unfortunate incident. Now you said that the right thing to be done when they were apprehended was to have, handed them over to
the
security
police.
Operatives. The question would be, do these people trust the security operatives that justice will be done? Now, do not forget, in Edo State has suffered in the hands of herdsmen. Edo State has suffered herdsmen killings. In fact, let me bring our minds back. Sometime last year, there was an attack on farmers in Edo State. And the Nigerian police, when distress call was made, the Nigerian police sent some police officers to go quell that situation in the farmlands. The police officers never returned. This is an information that is out there. And when the police now went on a search for their colleagues, 19 of them found killed in the forest, where they went to, make sure that they protect the farmlands. There was no outrage. 19 police officers, and there were more than 19 that were sent out, but it was the bodies of 19 that was recovered, reportedly recovered. Now, the others, up until date, we've not heard or gotten feedback that some officers returned. Up until date, not returned, but 19 bodies were discovered in Edo State. Now, when you follow this story more, some Uromi people have come out to speak, and they have said that there has been killings by herdsmen in Uromi community and also other communities in Edo State. Right? Now, I can go on and on and on. Even in Enugu State, communities. And I think recently, a community in Enugu State came out to cry. Their husbands, they can't go to the farms anymore. The same is happening in Edo State. The question is, why is the nation silent when a section of the country are being massacred? Security operatives are being killed. They are silent. And the question is, nobody is asking questions. Why are these people with AK-47? Now, hunters, growing up, I saw hunters whenever we go back for Christmas celebration, and they usually go with a wooden gun, a den gun, But AK-47, that's very sophisticated. How do you explain that? If these people are hunters, how is a hunter able to afford a sophisticated gun in this economy? These are questions that begs for answers while the police are doing their investigation. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. I will start by looking at the question which addressed the issue of wielding AK-47. Mm-hmm. It is very, very unlawful for anyone, any private individual, to wield such sophisticated automatic rifle. Okay? Even the licenses the police issues to individuals to keep arms doesn't include AK-47. It is only pump action or anything lesser than pump action. So anything automatic rifle, you wield it, you go to jail. Okay, that's possession of illegal firearms. Mm-hmm. So nobody, no matter how highly placed, can wield that. Okay, so the victims that we have found with such sophisticated guns, don't forget, I am speaking from the angle of the law.
Go ahead.
We are not justifying the act. Neither are we saying what the supposed or alleged hunters did were right. But what we are looking at as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is that no individual, no matter how highly placed, have the right to kill another.
Correct.
Okay? Death of a person can only come by a pronouncement of court when that person is being convicted of murder. Then the court states how he or she can either be hanged or face firing squad or die by electrical shock or any way recommended by the court. Anything outside that, nobody, even though they were found with bombs, even though they were found with rocket launchers, the law never permitted I and you to kill them. What the law allows us to do at that point is to hand them over to the police or the DSS. Okay, looking at how grave the evidence is. Hand them over to the police or DSS for further interrogation. Because one, killing them, you don't know where they are coming from. You don't know their relationship. You don't know if they are the ones they are looking for. So why kill them prematurely? It will be very, very wrong to kill them at that stage. You don't have the right to kill anyone. So you submit them to the law, wherein the security agencies will do further investigation and interrogation whether to find out more dangerous information.
All right, very well. Now, Ndamzi, I totally agree with what you have said. Like I said earlier, we are looking at a whole lot of perspectives, because if certain things have to end, then certain issues has to be addressed as well, right? While I in no way, condone this. This is condemnable. It's barbaric.
Very, very.
It's barbaric, and it's sick, actually. But in also looking for justice, we should also look at a whole lot of perspectives, so that in seeking justice, other issues are also addressed, so that this will not happen again. Now, they said they were en route to the northern states to, celebrate the Muslim Islamic festivities. The question would be, they were passing through checkpoints. Yes? They were passing through checkpoints. And you know how saturated South and Southeast is with police checkpoints. How were these people able to drive through these checkpoints without being found? Because if the police did their job and apprehended these people, they wouldn't suffer this. Because now the police would have done their job, apprehended them, and probably by now they will be in police custody. And the police will now have ample time to investigate and then either set them free or further prosecute them.
Thank you very much. This is a very pertinent question that requires an urgent answer. I have thought through this same question you asked. That very day, the news, brokered. I thought, how could these people have maneuvered with sophisticated automatic rifles from Port Harcourt down to Uromi, to Edo State?
You know how many checkpoints?
Checkpoints. Traversing through federal roads. That's a federal route. I mean, that is failure on the part of our security agencies, because Section 4 of the Police Act says that the Nigerian police shall be empowered to maintain law and order throughout Federal Republic of Nigeria. That is to say that the police and other security, the National Security Acts, the National Securities Acts, talks about the DSS, talks about the Nigerian military, talks about the Air Force and all, the NIA and all that. In my own opinion, the federating unit, the federation empowering only the federal government to be in control of police force in Nigeria, that structure have failed, that structure have collapsed, that structure need reinforcement, that structure need rehabilitation. There should be a proper review. Look, states should be allowed to own and control its police. That is the only way we will have safe passages of goods and services in Nigeria. That is the only way we will have safe roads. That is the only way we will have saner society. Because at that point, if states own their own police force, you will see that security will be closer to the local people. But at this point, the security structure is far from us. Control comes from the presidency. The president controls the Nigerian police in conjunction with the Council of States, wherein the governors are members. And that comes to mind that even in Nigeria, with due respect to the governors past and present, they have not realized their powers under the Police Act. They have not realized their powers under the Constitution, because in selecting who becomes the IG of the police, the Constitution never says the president should. it has to be in consultation with the Council of States. So you see, over time, the presidency have just been having their way. So this is a call for the governors. Ask your attorney generals to do in-depth of your powers under the Constitution as regards the management of the Nigerian police force. The governors have their powers too. So going back to our discourse, the security agencies have failed Nigeria. They have failed without fear or favor. They have failed because if they are meeting up their constitutional obligation, we won't be where we are. Don't the DSS have the intelligence as to all that is happening security-wise in Nigeria? They do. I can assure you, the DSS is a very mighty organization. That organization, they are wonderful. They have the security intel of what is going on in Nigeria. But lack of political will to implement some of these recommendations are the problem. And also, I believe also that some of our leaders in government may be complicit with what's happening. Nobody knows, because you can't tell me these things will happen just, everybody will walk away freely. No, we don't hear of, those that have been jailed for either funding,
that was the initial
Boko Haram,
question I've even
and
asked
all
you.
that.
Have you even heard? It still boils down to that first question I asked you about trust deficits between the people and the security operatives. Trust deficit between the people and the judiciary. That's why I asked you earlier, with respect to people taking laws into their hands, when they feel in this instance, is the will of justice even grinding? Have you ever heard at any point that these headers that have been killing people and terrorizing people and taking over their farms, one has been apprehended, prosecuted, and jailed? One. Have you ever heard that a Boko Haram member has been apprehended? I mean, the ones that they even say they have apprehended and they have arrested. Have you ever heard of a successful apprehension, prosecution? Have you ever heard of unknown gunmen, successful apprehension and prosecution? I can go on and on and on and on and ask these questions. At what point do we say that the lives of Nigerians matter? At what point? So now, hasn't this led to trust deficits that I talked about earlier between the people and the institutions that are expected to protect the common man? If these issues are not addressed, do you think this is the last we'll hear of jungle justice or mob action, as condemnable as it is? Because after this outrage, give it time, another one might happen again, right? So I need you to address that.
Thank you. Talking about trust deficit in our society, the leadership and the lled have disconnected completely. And also, there are institutional failures in the society. The security structures have failed. The judiciary is failing. As far as I'm concerned, the judiciary is failing because we are seeing conflicting judgment. We are seeing judgments that are not in line with the law. We are seeing judges giving judgment with their discretion, even though they have discretion as to the judge's rule. But that discretion, they must wield it looking at the Constitution, looking at the implication on the people, looking at the society, because at some point, the court is a court of direction. The court is a court of policy. The court is a court of equity. Anything short of the rule of law becomes an aberration. So, the prosecutory institution also, the people don't trust. The judiciary, the trust of the people are dwindling. So, but that, notwithstanding, does not justify the fact that we should take the life of another. Yes, there are herdsmen ravaging our farms. Even here in Rivers State, the people have been crying out on radio. At some point in Ikwere local government, some 2 years ago, it was tough in Ikwere local government. Ishokbo, Elele, and all that. It was very tough. Herdsmen ravaging the farms, destroying their crops and all that. So
it's one thing to ravage farms. Hold on.
And also taking lives.
It's one thing to ravage the farms. Another thing to kill people, to raid entire communities, to rape women and children and still kill them. It's another thing to slice open the belly of a pregnant woman and bring out its unborn child. I can go on and on and on to talk about the atrocities that are being committed. The government looking the other way. Is it not leading to people coming to a point of revolution where they say, we are going to now do this? As much as we condemn this, the man that goes to the farm that is only source of livelihood and taking care of his children, it's not listening to what we are saying, because at the end of the day, he's wondering if the government even knows he's alive or he's a mere chronological. Right? There are issues that besiege us that we need to look at. Insecurity is this now is a manifestation of a much more fundamental problem. And as much as the fact that we are crying at the bleeding, the Uromi killings, we are crying out, we are angry, we are outraged, there is a much more fundamental issue that Nigerians are not looking at, and Nigerians are not asking that the government address at this point in time. And if care is not taken, it's being politicized, as it were. Now, as I speak, Uromi people have asked the northern people living within their communities to leave. That's what's going on right now. So the matter is even escalating even more. And there may be reprisals. And at the end of the day, what happens? More lives will be lost. At what point is the government going to sit up and do the right thing? At what point are the lives of everyday Nigerians, the common man in this instance, going to matter?
Yes, the government of Federal Republic of Nigeria should be blamed for the insecurity in the country, because it is their responsibility to secure the country called Federal Republic of Nigeria. It is the responsibility of the federal government. The security is in the hands of the federal government. The police, the DSS, the NCDC, the Air Force, the NIA, the Navy, all are within the control of the federal government. So I am opinion that Nigerian Federation should allow state police to thrive. Without state police, we cannot get it right. The herdsmen have committed so much atrocities that have led to so many provocations. We know that. But I still maintain that we will not be like the herdsmen killing people. We will not become barbarians like them. We will not act satanically like them. What they are doing is demonic. So we should be more modern by approaching it within the ambits of the law. Anything that is not within the ambits of the law is totally unacceptable by me.
Very well.
I wouldn't encourage anyone to take the life of anyone.
Very well.